Yeah. For some odd reason, OBS doesn't work on my computer. Maybe I have an old version. Hold on. Look at that. Has nothing to do with the amount of upload speed that I got. It's crazy. That's just crazy. Look at it. It's fairly. I mean, it might not be the cleanest picture, but it's alright. It's alright. I'm looking at it. Look at that. Look at that. We're gonna go over it, guys. We're gonna go over it today. Look at, but I want to show you. I need to show you guys this. I gotta show you guys this. Watch. Because it's not my fault. It's not my fault that I messed up so hard right now. Watch this. Hold on. I did the speed test. I have a direct connection to I'm like wired in. I'm not doing it over Wi-Fi. None of that. Did a speed test. Look at that. So, around 80 on the download, right? And the upload's pretty good too. Watch. You gotta just wait for it. You gotta wait for it. You gotta wait for it. Look at that. That's not too bad for upload. I mean, I mean, come on now. That's not too bad for upload. Not bad at all. You usually never even see 88 on an upload. I see y'all with them 20s. With them 20s on that upload. Hell, that's what I got at home. All right, guys. So, sorry to those of you that got several alerts saying, "Oh, Kilo Loco's going live," and he's not really going live. For whatever reason, OBS does not want to work on my computer. I think it might be because I got, 8 gigs of RAM. That could be it. Or maybe I just have an old OBS because I downloaded that OBS like last year, at the beginning of last year, or the end of the year before that. So something like that. All right. What are you guys doing? Where are you guys coming from? Who's watching? Who's in here? Say hi. Say hola. Say whatever the word is in your native tongue. Let's get this conversation rolling. I just wanted to see who would show up. I don't expect very many people to be in here on account of this is the middle of work hours. I just wanted to take a little break because I was working all morning. I got up at like 5:30. No, 5:45. I woke up a little bit later today. And I didn't get over to my parents' house, which is where I work, until about like 7:30. There was some stuff that I had to take care of, get gas, other things like that. Anyway, I'm tired of working. It's been a while. Need a break. Getting burned out, getting bored, and I'm about to start working on a couple other projects. Start working on let's see, what else am I going to be working on? I want to put out like some miniature apps, like little utility apps. Could definitely use a little bit of side income. And yeah, okay, Satyam, it's 2:30 a.m. in India right now. Man, you need to go to sleep. You need to go to sleep. No, I appreciate it, Satyam. Thanks for joining. Hey, Kilo. Greetings from Norway. That's how you say it in Norway. Nice. I like it. Why do you go to your parents' house? Why do I go to my parents' house? Well, when you got a little 8-month-old, it's kind of hard to resist a little 8-month-old. He's so cute, and you just want to hold him and play with him. And he gets loud though. He gets loud and distracting. So I come over to my parents' house because it's free to come over here. I sit in my old room. This is pretty much where I grew up for like 90% of my childhood. And yeah, I have like my own little space right here that I could just work out of because my parents don't really, they use this room like you guys have seen stuff in the background. They use this room, but like I just use like the little desk that's in this corner because I could put like my other monitor right here. I have my laptop on a stand and I could like it's like at eye height because I'm like really tall and stuff like that. So that's why. Could you make a video about object-oriented programming? I can do that. Yeah, so that brings me to the point of what today's live stream is going to essentially be about. I just wanted to talk about where are the videos that you guys have been requesting. Now, unfortunately, since OBS didn't work, I can't show you my beautiful face, my sexy face, while I show you what's going on the screen. So just stop looking at my face and let me show you guys where we are at on all that other good stuff. Look at that Inception in the background. It's so trippy to me. All right, let's just put this. I'm going to put this over here. Y'all don't need to see that. All right, we're going to open up the Trello app because native is a must. And we're going to go over here. And as you can see, oh, I also didn't get to do the dev vlog, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Anyways, this is like these are all the topics that you guys have requested, right? Quite a bit. I get requests all the time on all these different topics that you want covered, right? Now, I actually haven't been updating this. I've just been so busy, guys. There's like stuff going on in the family. There's stuff going on in my personal life. There's stuff going on with like work. There's stuff going on with new work. It's all kinds of craziness, but I'm working on it and we're about to talk about that right now. But as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that you guys have requested that I just have not been able to cover. Now, I do plan on going over all this stuff eventually, and I actually want to expedite that process. Now, as you can see right here, tutorials in progress. Well, actually, singletons is done, right? Did I cover singletons? I did do. I published it, I think. Tutorials released. Yeah, this one I published. Getting started with protocols. I think I published that one for you guys, right? And then you guys haven't seen the extensions. This one is actually done. These two optional. Yeah, these two are done. This one is actually done. Vapor 3. Actually, it's not even Vapor 3 because that was the tool chain. It's actually Vapor 2. This one's done. So these three are done right here. I still have to work on these three and record them. Now, what I'm trying to do is I'm spending my Wednesdays. Oh, well, we're gonna go back over to my face, and we about to talk it out. We about to talk it out, baby. Hold on. All right. So what I've been trying to do is I'm trying to batch record content, right? So that I could record, because I don't have all the time to record, especially lately with all the things that are coming up and all the things that I'm trying to accomplish. I just don't have the time to record all the content that I want anytime, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start batch recording, which means that I'm going to record multiple videos throughout on one day or on whatever days that I have available. And then when I do finish recording those videos, they will not be published or edited right away. I'll spend a different day editing those videos and then uploading them on a more consistent basis. Now, the goal is to upload at least to have you guys with a tutorial every week, right? So this doesn't include the entire app building process from scratch. And I'm about to talk about that too. So what I'm actually doing is I'm setting it up so that if for whatever reason I have to disappear for a little while, I still have content to upload for you guys, and that won't affect you. Now, the thing that I'm looking into doing is actually going daily. I want to have daily content for you guys, but that means I have to record quite a bit of videos. Now, as you've seen with the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been putting out videos that seem like they're more for beginners. Now, I wouldn't say that they're for beginners myself. I would say that it's more geared towards foundational learning, right? Now, I'm teaching some of these topics that seem very basic because I feel that even some intermediate and advanced developers don't know these topics really well. And I'm trying to make sure that you still have a strong foundation, because let's face it, a lot of us are self-taught developers. We didn't go to, like a 4-year university. I know that most of my audience self-taught developers, right? So I'm trying to make sure that we all kind of have that strong foundation that we will all be able to benefit from, no matter what skill level you're at. You might think that you know the topic, but I plan on going much more in depth with it. So there's that. That's one of the series that I'm going to keep up on a weekly basis, and that's what I have ready to go for the next 2 weeks. I have videos that I can release for the next two to 3 weeks. And you guys would get it once a week. I just got to edit them and schedule them for upload, and you guys will be set for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Now, I'm also going to be covering Vapor, right? Vapor has become one of the things that is very close to my heart. I really enjoy doing the back end development with Swift. I really, really enjoy it because it eliminates the whole need for UI. I don't have to worry about how to make things pretty and how to like, get the gradient or what looks good, like what colors complement what. I don't have to worry about all that stuff because that stuff is so boring to me. I like just being told, hey, I need this done. Go out and do that. And I can do that. I can accomplish that. You tell me what to do, I can accomplish it. It's when I have to start, spending time on the creativity that it's like, it's such a drag. It's so annoying. It gets boring for me. So I'm going to be covering stuff on Vapor for you guys. It's going to be a whole series. I want to go through everything that I've learned so far that I've implemented in my app, my platform app that I'm getting ready and geared up to release to you guys. And I'm going to be covering all those things that I learned with Vapor. We're going to be working with Stripe. We're going to be working with authentication. You guys are already seeing some of this stuff in the entire app building process already. You guys are already seeing some of that Vapor stuff that I already know. And I just want to go through and give you guys a much more detailed tutorial for you guys. Now, another series that I want to start up for you, or the one that I had started up 2 weeks ago that I'm actually going to finish one of the videos today, is the devlog, right? I had put in my first devlog was like on the 2nd or something like that when I was talking about my goals. The second one was like 2 weeks ago when I went to the meetup. Now that's something that I want to put out on a consistent basis as well. I'm thinking about doing that maybe 2 times a week, but at least once a week. So right there, that gives you 3 different topics that I'm going to be covering. I'm going to be covering on a weekly basis. That is, I'm going to be covering your foundational stuff. I'm going to be covering Vapor stuff, the devlog, and then the entire app building process. Now there's 3 that leaves 3 more spots on a daily content upload type basis. I want to make a Q&A section at the hashtag #AskADev for any of you guys that have any questions about how to become a developer, because I'm going to be covering a lot of this stuff in my devlog, but the devlog is really just so that you can kind of take a look into my life, and the question's kind of like secondary unless you want to treat it that way. But really, like Ask a Dev, I want to, be able to give you that one-on-one, interaction or talking or whatever the heck you want to call it. Hold on. I feel like this is like way too high. Anyway, I think that having one of these open, questions, being able to ask somebody that's in the industry, especially if you're just starting out, having that would be beneficial to somebody that's starting up. So that would be another thing that I want to do weekly. So that leaves 2 more slots. Now, the 2 more slots that I'm planning on doing will definitely be alternating. there's topics that you guys want covered that are just really obscure. It's like something that's very particular to your project, and that's perfectly fine that you want that. Like, obviously everybody's working on something different. We're not all working on the same things. And then some of the frameworks, the libraries, the tools that you're trying to work with, the software that you're trying to work with, it doesn't have good documentation. Like, look at AWS. Like, I think I have like the only video out there on how to incorporate AWS into your iOS project. And that's because there's no damn documentation, and it's really not fun working with it. So yeah, I mean, I plan on I keep covering those topics for you guys, but it's just going to take a while. So, the 2 last spots will just be like just whatever I could get out that week that doesn't involve Foundation or Vapor. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, I want to start getting you guys daily content. I might even throw in an extra devlog or something like that if I can't make it, or an extra live stream. But as incentive for you guys to keep me to this daily upload chore, what I'm planning on doing is the first person that calls me out for not uploading a daily or following my goal of daily uploads will get a free mentoring session, a free 1 hour mentoring session. And those of you that have mentored with me know that I'm like very lenient on the hour. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, time's up. I mean, if we can, that's way better, because, you know, it helps me with my schedule. But if you can't, but if we need to go over, I'm gonna go over with you, as long as I have the time. So yeah, but there's one thing, is that it's not starting right away. I'm not doing the daily upload starting today. It's actually not going to start until and I see that there's questions. I'm gonna get into the questions in a bit, but yeah. All right. So the daily uploads will not start until February 9th. February 9th, which is not this Friday, but next Friday. That's when I'm planning on starting the daily uploads. And from there on, you guys should have daily content. So free mentoring session for anybody that wants it, or we can, you know, figure out something else for you to, you know, benefit from. If it's not mentoring, maybe it's like a consultation or whatever you want it to be, but that's like $100 value right there. Bam. All right, so let me get back over to these questions. Once again, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. That's what we're doing today. So yeah, the object-oriented programming, that's something that the object-oriented programming video, I'm thinking might be more, well, yeah, I'll do a video on it. I don't think it necessarily needs what am I trying to say? It doesn't necessarily need a course. I was thinking about doing a course on it, but I'm planning on doing courses too, guys. Gonna start getting a whole lot more information and courses and videos out there, especially after I drop my platform. Thomas Walt, really enjoying your entire app building process series, just watching and learning for the time being. Want to get into Vapor when I get my Swift skills on point. Hey, I don't blame you. Yeah, you definitely, like, if you don't have any experience in web development, like back-end web development, I would highly recommend being on point with your Swift skills, because with knowing Swift and having a firm understanding on Swift will really give you the ability to learn back-end development concepts without being like staggered by the code that's written in front of you. So like, if that doesn't make sense, what I'm trying to say is, like, if you don't have to worry about understanding Swift, the language, then you can just really focus on understanding concepts of web development. Now, if you've done web development, I know that it's still a bit different, but you could probably jump in. You know, I try to break, well, Not in the entire app building process. I don't break down everything, but in the coming videos I will. And you could probably start playing with Vapor a little bit. What app you're building in the entire what app? What app are you building in the entire app building process? The app that I'm building in the entire app building process is going to be like Meetup, but strictly for coders or programmers or however you want to refer to yourself. I don't care about the term, but some people care about the term. So it's going to be like Meetup, schedule events. I just want to make things more of a community. And somebody had actually reached out to me in the comments and said, where's the code? You haven't uploaded the code in like 2 months or something like that. And like, that's been like really bad practice because I should be doing git commits, right? Like I should be pushing my code like every time I make a new feature, and I haven't been doing that. So during the next one, it's going to be this weekend. I've been working out some scheduling things with my wife so that I can have more time to dedicate towards the platform, towards getting you guys out content and towards working, because I think a lot of this work is going to lead me to having possible revenue streams, because we are in a situation where we're trying to come up with more money, and I feel like I could do that if she gives me the time. So yeah, how to contribute to an open source project. I mean, what is the general procedure? Satyam, the general procedure for contributing to an open source project is to find something that you like, first of all, that you really want to be involved with. Now, you'll see something like Alamofire, right? And you're like, oh, there's no way that I can contribute to Alamofire. Like, it's so big. There's so many smart people that are working on it. And, you don't always have to contribute directly to that project. What you can do is you can fork it, and you can make, like, let's say you're working with Alamofire, right? And it has this one feature that you think would just be so much easier. There's like extra code that you have to write every time that you do, every time you're working with like Alamofire, right? And you're like, it would be so much better if that piece of code was already incorporated into Alamofire, so I wouldn't have to do it myself. Well, what you could do is you could fork it, or pull it, and then try to, you would have to fork it and then incorporate that feature. And then what you would want to do is you would do a pull request. Now, depending on what it is, it could get rejected, right? Because what most libraries and frameworks want to do is they want to give you the most power that you can without being bloated at the same time, because you have to think that's going to be space that's taken up in somebody else's project. So it may be that you want to put that feature into Alamofire, but they're not accepting it. Well, then you're like, well, F it. I already made the feature. What I can do is I could call it something different, and you can Alamofire X, right? Alamofire X has like all these different features that are already built into it. And then, that could be like a second framework or something like that. So that's kind of the process. On the bigger ones, what you want to do is, if you really just want to start, what you could do is, a lot of the time it's missing documentation. It's missing like the comments in the documentation, typos, things like that. And a lot of people feel like, oh, that's not contributing to open source, but it really is, because it's making it a better, more comprehensive product. And it makes it easier for people to, consume. So you can start off that way. The other route that you can go is you could, and that's with like any project that's already out there, right? So the other route that you could go is you can start making your own thing, and then you start promoting your own thing. So let's say that you like, oh, this is something that I was kind of looking into a while back. I called it Design Kit. It's on my GitHub. It was like for IB Designable, right? What you could do is you could create something like Design Kit, right? Something you could create something that you just think would be useful for you, and you just put it up there. Keep it open source, and then when you get it to a point to where it's really working and doing what it's supposed to do, then I would say start marketing it on your Twitter or your Instagram. Just start talking about it, like, hey, I'm using this, or reaching out to people saying, hey, you want to try this out and see how you like it, see if it helps your workflow. and that would essentially start growing it, or spreading awareness of it. And then when a coder sees like, oh yeah, I love this product that you made. Oh, but it has this bug. Oh, it's on GitHub. Let me fix that for you. So then it starts becoming like a collaboration. It really becomes like open sourced. So those are like two different routes. I know that was kind of a lot, but yeah. What's going on, Philip? What's going on, AR? Yeah. Vinesh, yeah. That's the offer, man. Free mentoring when I don't do it. What's going on? News with the sexy all the time, man. AR, are you excited about DevSlopes 2.0? I haven't really been looking into what DevSlopes has been doing, but I know that Mark is a hard worker. He has a team of guys that really know what they're doing, and I know that it's going to be amazing. I highly recommend that you guys check out whatever it is that is going on at DevSlopes, because I know they provide awesome content for like all different areas of coding. And I don't know if they're expanding that, but yeah. Love your sexy channel. Thanks, News. Always love those sexy comments. All right, Kilo's the man. Accountability for not giving us free content. Yeah, right. That's a pretty good offer. Come on, guys. That's a pretty good offer. Kilo, when documentation isn't clear or you get stuck on something, what is your go-to? Just Stack Overflow, or do you have a mentor yourself that you can ask questions? Now, I don't have a mentor. I can tell you that. I wish I did. But I just don't have money to pay anybody right now, or else I'd have a team or something like that that would help me with the content creation and stuff like that. But no. So more realistically, I don't have a mentor. You don't have a mentor. That's just the thing. I offer mentoring services because being on YouTube has increased my the amount of code that I am forced to write, the amount of technologies that I'm forced to learn, and things like that, right? So that's why I feel comfortable giving mentoring sessions, because I know a lot more than I feel the average developer does, at least the ones that watch my YouTube videos. So what do I do when I get stuck? And this is a question that I actually get a lot, not on the stuck part, but it's more like, what is the process of learning? Like, how do you know all these different things? How have you learned all these different softwares or whatever it is, right? So what I do is, first off, I go to YouTube. I check out I check out Brian Vung, I check out Jared Davison, I check out Sean Allen, Mark Moykins, Brian Advent. I check out all those guys, right? And I do that for even the videos that I'm watching or the videos that I produce, right? Like these guys do a lot of these videos before I do, right? But sometimes I feel like, oh, you know what? Like that wouldn't help explain it to somebody that's new. Or I think I can probably give my twist on how I would explain it, and that's why I do it. But anyways, going back to what I think a good way of learning something that you don't know is, check YouTube first if you're like a visual learner, then Google it, because most of the time the answers are on Google. Google/Stack Overflow. It's kind of like the same thing if you ask me, because my Google, it's like every time the way that I ask my questions, you really have to know how to ask a question to Google, make sure you do it right. Ask a question to Google, and then usually Stack Overflow pops up. After that, it's a couple of articles. You have things like NS Hipsters, you have Hacking with Swift, you have there's a couple of other people that are coming up with their blogs, and they're doing a really good job, but I can't remember their name right now. But I go to those sources first. Then last, if I can't go to somewhere that can just give me like an example project, what I do is I look at the documentation. Now, if the documentation sucks like AWS does, that's when you have to just kind of have to take in whatever the project is, like AWS, for example. What I had to do was I had to get AWS into my project with the Cocoa Pods or however I did it. And I had to start experimenting with the code, which took freaking forever. It was so annoying, but this is what I did, and I learned how to do it. I kept playing with it. I kept looking. I kept trying to grasp concepts. I even started looking at the documentation for other languages, because the documentation most of the time for other languages is something that you could actually learn from, like the concepts of how things work. So yeah, YouTube, Google, then documentation, and if no documentation, then you just have to play with it and figure it out yourself. That's just the only way that you can do it. You have to do it yourself. Let's see. Wow, there's been a lot of people coming in since. What's all this weed talk? Why does it matter if I smoke weed? What's going on? All right. Let's see. AR. Will you release the app that you are creating in the entire? Yes, it's going to be created to the in the App Store. So yes, if you're willing to release this Meetup app to the App Store, I'd love to join you on this project as a designer, since I'm not that good at iOS coding. Okay, I'm going to take you up on that offer, AR, but not for the first round. I think it's very important that people see how I do it, and then they can kind of see other processes, because not everybody's going to have access to get a designer on board. I appreciate it, and I do want to take advantage of that offer, but just not for the initial launch. So I plan on making this app stay around for a long time, just for teaching purposes, and then hopefully building a community that we can all meet up and hang out and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll take that offer, but just not during the first release. For version 2.0, we'll definitely work together on that, because I think that's also something that would be beneficial to learn. Do you smoke weed? All these people that just came in and just started asking, I smoke weed. You know, how much do you think do you consume daily? No, I don't think this is me. You smoke good? No. Nope. Wow, Kilo, you have some random spammers. Yeah, I know. Do you smoke illegal substance? Well, it's not illegal here in California anymore. So, do you smoke? Let's build that up. Yes, let's build that up. Brian Boom. That's who I was referring to. Bro, where did all these? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where all the spammers came from. It's like, why? How did they even find me? Fix your audio. Is there something wrong with the audio, guys? Let me know. Street man for president. Yeah, sure, bro. Maybe a version 2. All right, yeah. So for anybody that does want to know, I would smoke, but I never buy weed. Like on an occasion where somebody offers it, I probably would. Yeah. You prefer code over storyboards? Okay, so this is something that's been plaguing me lately. Code versus storyboards. Right now I'm sticking with storyboards, right? So thank you, AR, for confirming the audio. I'm sticking with storyboards because I have a lot of projects that I'm working with, and storyboards is quite quick when you just have everything done the correct way. You're not making one massive storyboard that has 50 IB designable view controllers. So as long as you're doing it right, where you have a storyboard per feature, then you're usually fine. But if for whatever reason, yeah, you're usually fine with storyboards. Like, there's really no need to use code for the most part. Now, I've been thinking and considering getting into code only. And a lot of people say that, it slows down your compile time, blah, blah, blah. And I made a project. I was working with a project, and I did it all code, and it was the same way. Like, I think people, once again, I think people keep complaining about, the storyboard, because you could see everything that's running, everything that's compiling in Xcode. When it's going through, when you press that play button, it shows you what's being compiled. The storyboards are like this one little segment that take maybe an extra what, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. It's like, what am I saving 3 4 seconds for? Well, like, many small time equal big time. Yeah, big time see world, right? Like, like, I don't know. So for that purpose, there isn't really a need to go to to go to code. Now, I've been considering going to code because um, things like MVVM. I mean, you're essentially doing everything that you would normally have to do for um, for if you were only working with code, if you were doing with storyboards. So that's why I was looking into getting into code, is because I realized that me sticking with storyboards only was limiting and influencing my decisions and on becoming a better developer. And the way that I say that is the way that I s- the what I mean by that is that when I learned about MVVM and how it's used with storyboards, it was like, that's like so much extra work, to get the view model in there. And it's like you have to create the view controller before it was like so much work. And I didn't like it, because it was like, well, how do I incorporate that with storyboards? Like it's all over the place, kind of. So you can do MVVM with storyboards. I'm not saying that, but it almost doesn't even make sense with storyboards. Like, at that point, you're already writing code for your view controller to be set up. You might as well just get all the elements set up too in code. I mean, like, might as well. So when I realized that, the way that I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, I might need to look into code. So I made an announcement on Twitter. If you guys aren't following me, make sure you follow me. That's like the best way to reach out to me if you ever have any questions on any of this stuff. But yeah, code is definitely something worth learning, because it really helps you understand. Like, it gives you a better understanding of the life cycle of a view controller. It really makes you fully understand what you're working with, whereas storyboards abstracts a lot of that information away from you, so you never have to deal with it. And I want to get into code just because I need to know that information to become a better teacher, to become a better programmer, and things like that. So I know both. I can do both. I just haven't done extensive or single projects just completely dedicated to doing it in code. So by the end of this year, I may switch over to code. I'm going to definitely spend time on that. The tutorials will I think, almost always be done in storyboards. I think all my tutorials will always be done in storyboards, simply because if you know how to write in code, then you know how to take what I'm teaching you from a storyboard and just put it into code. But doing the reverse is a lot harder for a beginner, right? Like, if I was showing you how to do everything in code, and you're barely learning, like, that lack of visualization, it's a bit harder to learn, in my personal opinion. So currently, what company are you working for? There's a couple of different companies, but I mean, you wouldn't know them. It's just like a bunch of little startups. So I'm not even gonna bring them up. I think storyboards are a time saver. Coding UI is time consuming. Yes. I mean, it's only getting like the basic layouts really there. I mean, why not just do that in storyboard, something that can be done so quickly? So yeah. But it's not bad to learn. Sometimes it's essential. Yeah, it is definitely essential to know both. It will help you as a developer. It will limit the amount of roadblocks that you come across, because you have a full understanding of it. And then a lot of the time, your storyboards are backed up by code anyway. So it's like, yeah. How many apps do you have on the App Store? Just like 3. I have like 3 on the App Store right now. I have my very first app. I have my second app that I made in like how fast did I make that thing? It was like 3 or 4 hours. It's just like a large text display. Let me show it to you guys. It's the second app that I made was an app that I made because my great grandfather, he passed away since then, but he was hard of hearing, and it's this one right here. Let me see. I need to make sure that you guys can see it. Hold on. It is this one right here. Oh, no, not that one. This white one right here. Easy Read. It's called Easy Read. And the reason I made this was because he was hard of hearing, and I just wanted to be able to type something out so I didn't have to yell all the time. So as you can see right here, all you have to do is say, how's it going? And that's all it that's all it is. That's all it is. No, but it's like, I thought it was really cool because you can throw like some emojis in there, and they become like really big. Like so that you can like do it across the room. Like I don't know. Anyways, this was an app that I just made for myself, and I was like, I'll put it on the App Store or whatever. The first app that I made was called Brain Dump. It was a really bad attempt. I think I was using Core Data, and I never revisited it again. And then the last app that I worked on is or the last app that I've gotten on the App Store is Tennis Pal. Which is the app that I'm currently working on right now. It's like a Facebook for tennis players. So that's with the startup that I'm working at. Huge social networking app, and it's actually going through an entire rewrite. Thank God. I was working with legacy code. Like, oh my God, man. It was so bad. The legacy code was so bad, and I was working on top of it for so long, for so many months, and now I finally get to rewrite the entire thing and do it my own way, and like it's gonna be so much better. Anyway, yeah. So 3 right now. Definitely gonna be putting a lot more out there. All right. How many apps? Yeah, I'm gonna definitely get more out there. API, custom backend, or Firebase. What's your insight? Well, API, custom backend. Well, API and custom backend are kind of the same, I think, unless you are referring to something different that I don't know. I would say those are kind of the same. Or Firebase. What's your insight? And then this guy says Firebase is a piece of shit, in my honest opinion. Well, I wouldn't say Firebase is a piece of shit. It's actually a pretty good service, in my opinion. But that's not what I chose to go with on my app. Actually, I'm going to be using Firebase storage for my videos and see how that works out. So we'll find out. But in my personal opinion, what I would say is backend is always doing your own custom backend is always better because you have full control over it. You pretty much know exactly what your pricing is. You don't have to worry about a company really shutting it down because if Google decided to say, hey, we don't play with Firebase no more, that's scrapped, then what happens to your project? Well, yeah. And then working with things like Firebase, how easy is it for you to get your data out? That's the huge problem, because if you have like a huge app that has like 100,000 users in it, and all that information is in Firebase, and you're paying for it and everything, but Google says no more Firebase, and it's hard to get that information out, like what happens? So that's something that you really got to keep in mind. But if you're not working on that, so I mean, Firebase is fine if you want to do your own little app. You don't expect to have millions of users. Maybe like a couple thousand is like really like a realistic goal for you, which I think it is for most people. Most people that are just doing this on their own. Yeah, I would say Firebase is a good thing. But if you plan on like scaling this to a huge amount of users, like thousands upon thousands, like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, then definitely make your own backend. You don't want to be worrying about what Firebase is going to do. I meant custom database like SQL. Well, like I said, so a custom backend would be making like SQL. So like if you're saying like SQL versus no SQL, I love the power of SQL, but there's some digging that I need to do in NoSQL because you guys have requested a lot of how to have like relational data in Firebase, which is NoSQL. So I actually have to look into that. But I love SQL. Yeah. There's not many iOS jobs in my area, East Coast, Canada. I started learning to code a couple years ago because there was a job craze, but I find it's not nearly as easy to find work as people say. No, I don't know. I don't know who the hell keeps saying that it's so easy to become a developer or like it's easy to find jobs. Because honestly, I feel like it's not. Like I was looking for a job for a little while, and I don't think it's that easy, especially like if you're new. Like there's not a huge demand for junior developers. I think the thing is that there's a huge demand for senior developers. That's what it is. So there are a lot of jobs out there. It's just that you don't qualify for them. Yeah, and then remote isn't always something that they want. So I definitely hear you. What you could do is you just got like when you're looking for a job, what you have to do is you just have to keep going. You have to keep pushing. You have to send out like 1,000. Realistically, it's like 100. It's like 100. What is it called? You have to send your resume to like 100 different companies before you even get like one interview. That's like those are some like realistic numbers. It might be better than that, but those are some realistic numbers. Send your resume, like go through their whole entire application process or whatever, but do those applications, send out 100 applications or 100 resumes or whatever it is, and that will get you one interview. Now, that getting that interview doesn't mean that you're going to get hired. Now, you might have to do 10 interviews before you get hired. So what I'm saying is go out and send your resume or do 1,000 applications, go on your 10 interviews. And after 10 interviews, I'm pretty sure that you're really likely to get hired. Now, if that doesn't work, if you take a look at what Sean Allen has been saying in his vlogs, he was going to some of the top companies, which is really tough to get out in front of. But yeah, he just went with contracting. If you can just get gigs, if you go on Upwork.com, or if you can just start building your portfolio with the people that and just charge like a really like a normal human being reasonable rate, like you'll charge them like $100 to build a really nice app, then that's what you got to do. But just start building your portfolio. Don't let it slow you down. And then if worst comes to worst, start putting stuff out on the App Store for some money so that at least you're making some income. I'm not saying it's going to replace your income. You might make like $5 a month, but hey, that's $5 a month. And it's something that you can say that's on the App Store. So that will definitely help your chances. And you'll be learning new stuff too. So that's always a plus. But then it's hard to build all those features that Firebase has. It is hard, going back to the Firebase thing. Yeah, so that's a trade-off. So, I mean, if building a backend is something that you just can't do, then yeah, that's kind of what you're forced to do. Either you have to go with Firebase or you have to find a partner that you work with. That's what you have to do. Trying to do some freelancing. Good job, AR. Many jobs in southern Sweden, Copenhagen area, finishing my mobile dev course now and got a job halfway into the course. That's really interesting, Max. I've heard a lot of stuff about Sweden. I think Sweden actually is like one of these really tech heavy countries. So that's pretty cool. I hear like a lot of things about Sweden for whatever reason. What do you think about Realm database for iOS? Do you use it, or you prefer Core Data or something else? I use Realm. Am I using it in my app? No, no. But the app that I'm rewriting, the Tennis Pal one that I was just talking about, that one I just incorporated a bunch of Realm into it. We're trying to get ready for offline stuff. Don't like Core Data that much. Realm was just super easy to work with. So I just went with Realm. And the documentation is like, damn. I think the documentation is up there with, I'm not sure if I would say it's better than Google's Firebase documentation, but it's definitely on par with it for sure. So the documentation is pretty good. How many programming languages and frameworks do you know? Well, I don't know. Like I honestly say I only know like one programming language because that's the only one that I'm proficient in, right? I only really know Swift. I technically know how to write some SQL statements. I can write HTML and CSS. I can figure out how to do something with JavaScript if I needed to. I could program some stuff in Objective-C if I needed to. But that's about it. Like I really don't know any other language the same way that I know Swift. That's just ugh. It sucks that I don't know. Like that's why that was part of my New Year's resolutions was to get to learn more languages. So next thing that I want to learn is Solidity. My friend, you guys probably know him, Red Foo. He is learning a bunch about Solidity. I have to go over there and pick his brain one of these days, and I really want to see how to start writing smart contracts. So that's something that I'm interested in. I want to learn C++, and probably learn Kotlin because I don't think that Swift is coming to Android anytime soon. And JavaScript, I need to just learn JavaScript because JavaScript is all over the damn place and I hate it. I'm good at web dev, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I know Linux well. C is my base, and I decided to specialize in Swift iOS. Yes, Swift. Yeah. What database structure would you use for a team versus team scoring app, which would update live and each user's device as each player scores? What database structure would it be? Honestly, I don't know that much about database structures because I mean, I would just I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question. I'm kind of confused, honestly. I wouldn't be able to tell you how I would structure a database just off of that. I would have to look at all the factors and work through it. That's not something I just know off the top of my head. I'm still learning back-end development. So Swift incorporates a lot of languages, makes it easy to pick up others. Yes. Yeah. So Swift is one of the newest languages out there, and they have borrowed from a lot of languages and have taken some of the best things from a lot of those languages. So it's definitely awesome, and I think the perfect starting language. So yeah, learning other languages is a lot easier after knowing Swift, because then you could just learn the basics. That you can learn all the concepts of coding in Swift, and then go to these other languages. And Swift, I think, has, I mean, you guys might hate me for saying this, but I think Swift has more features than most other languages. So it would just be, you would just have to adjust your thinking and think, okay, well, in this language, I'm limited. Like I don't have this, this, and that, right? So you just have to figure out how to code around that. I'm hoping to learn Kotlin so I can develop for Android. Yeah, same thing. I have no interest in Android at all, but it makes me have a better tool set. Oh, you're asking MySQL or Firebase? Team versus team scoring app, which would update live on. Like I said, Russell, this is going to go back to how many users you have. Like, if you want to just get a proof of concept out there, and you don't think that this is going to be like the next Facebook, which probably isn't. Not to be a downer, but I mean, come on, like, how many of us are really going to write the next Facebook app, right? Or the next whatever, like for whatever genre, like no matter what type of genre that you're going into, or thing that you're going into. I have to call my wife back right now. But yeah, if you're planning on having like a reasonable user base, like less than, like, I would say, I don't know, 20,000 users, like for the next couple of years, then yeah, just go with Firebase. But if you want to, if you really think that this thing's going to take off, just, figure it out with like a custom backend. Use MySQL or whatever it is. Swift and Kotlin seem like brothers, many similarities. Yeah, I truly agree. I like to say that Kotlin is the equivalent of Swift. So like Kotlin is to Java what Swift is to Objective-C. That's what I like to say. And I'm sure that Swift has probably stolen a lot of things from Kotlin, because it was released like a year or two after, and a lot of the syntax is pretty similar. But Kotlin is too ugly, and I hate it. I prefer writing code in Java. Yeah, see, I think Java looks ugly. I hate looking at those languages, those C-based languages. I hate looking at them. It's like, ugh, that doesn't even look fun to write in. Okay, but what if you're trying to apply for a mobile developer job? You need to know how to develop for. Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, it just depends on, like, it like that's what will really, like, kind of show where that company stands on a developer basis, right? So you'll see like jobs for mobile developer. It needs to know iOS and Android, needs 4 years of experience, all this. It's like anybody that really knows technology knows that, well, no, you're generally going to have a specialist in iOS, and then you're going to have a specialist in Android. Because if you have the one person just doing both, I mean, you're probably not going to get a specialist in either of them. And then on top of that, your return, like the speed of getting those products out is going to be way slower, because you're trying to make one person just do it. Firebase would be easier. Yeah, Firebase is definitely easier. Google should use Swift for Android developers instead of ugly Kotlin. Definitely agree. But there was a talk. Somebody did a talk on it, and why Swift is kind of a far ways away from getting onto Android. Hopefully Swift takes over everything. Yeah, that'd be amazing if it just turned into JavaScript. Yeah, if Swift could just be the way that JavaScript is, that would be amazing for iOS, Android. Yeah. You can write backend totally in Swift now. Yep, that's what we're doing on the entire app building process. Yeah. All right, guys. My wife just called. I need to get off of here, give her a call back, and then I also have to get back to work because, yeah, I just wanted to kind of just hang out for a little bit, take a break, because I was just getting burnt on working on something that I just found boring for a while. All right, so thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining me today. Sorry about the mess ups earlier on the whatchamacallit. Yeah. What's going on, whoever that is at Dev Slopes? And yeah, I'm about to take off. When do you plan the next one? The next live stream that I'm probably gonna do. Well, the next live stream will be the entire app building process, which will be this weekend. Not sure if it's gonna be Saturday or Sunday. I'm still trying to get that down. But next live stream will be this weekend, and then the next one of these will probably be on Wednesday. So yeah. And then remember, remember that daily content is coming to you guys soon. So when that starts, if I don't start doing the daily content, you guys get some free mentoring sessions. So yeah. All right. Peace out, guys. Gotta go. Love you all. How do I stop this thing?